Welcome back to our blind beer tasting tournament. Today's the 15th day of qualifiers. For the viewers that have seen all the previous episodes, you may have worked out that when I first started with 32 beers, I've since used 29 beers, which only left me with 3 beers remaining for 2 days of tastings. I've decided to use the remaining 3 beers today, and I've gone and got 3 new beers for the final day. I will judge these beers on aroma, carbonation, colour and body. However, I have no actual idea what I'm doing, so I'll just tell you which beer I prefer the most. Alright, let's try beer A first. Oh, beer A is not great. It's quite clear. It's very light to look at. It's the lightest of these 2 beers. It's got quite a bitter taste. It's somewhat carbonated. The smell's quite pungent, quite strong. I don't think it's got a lot of alcohol in it, but it definitely smells strong. It's not, option A doesn't taste super great. Option B is a lot darker. It's B and C are very similar. They're a lot darker compared to A. B has got a very dark colour, very opaque, hard to see through. It's got a very neutral smell. It doesn't smell very strong. It doesn't smell strong as in, doesn't smell like it's got a lot of yeast or hops or anything going on in it. It just smells quite plain. Very carbonated. This, I think, is a light beer. Or a mid beer maybe. It's not very strong. Doesn't have a lot of flavour either. I think doesn't taste bad. It doesn't taste bad, but it doesn't taste like much of anything really. Option A tasted not good. Option B doesn't taste like anything. Option C, which is probably the same colour as B, they're very similar colours. Also smells like there's nothing going on. It's quite carbonated. That's quite strong. That's a full strength beer. That's a full strength beer and it tastes quite strong. That's a Crown lager. For those that are wondering, I can't see the beers, but I know from the beers that I have left that Crown Lager is amongst them. I also know that Peroni Red or Peroni, something Peroni's amongst them. And I think there is a Smithy's Premium as well. I've never had Smithy's Premium and I've never had Peroni, but I've had a lot of Crown before. I think beer C is the best. It's got a lot going on. This one tastes very plain. It's actually tasting a little better now. Beer A didn't taste good. Beer A is the worst of these three. Has quite a sour, bitter taste. Doesn't taste very clean. I think this may be the Smithy's Premium. This beer doesn't taste amazing either. I think beer C is the best. It's the one that doesn't make me cringe the most. It doesn't have a lot. It's not great. None of these beers are great, but I think C's the least not great. B's the most mediocre, and A is really not great. So they're my guesses. C's the best. I think it's a Crown. B is the middle beer, and I think it is the Peroni, I guess. I've never had a Peroni Red or Peroni whatever it is. I've never had it, and I think that's the B beer. And I've never had a Smithy's Premium. I think that is the A beer, which I enjoyed the least. I'm a bit surprised if this is the Smithy's beer, because the other Smithy's beers I feel were rather decent. The dry and the mid-strength I think I've had in the previous videos. So I think this is the Smithy's. Let reveal. I'll put my hand over and just see what I grab. It's a Crown Lager. And Crown Lager, if you can see, is a C. Sorry, that might be a bit far away, but it is a C. And it's a 1.4 standard drink. So we guessed Crown Lager correctly, and it is our winner, and we'll move on to the next round. Option Smithy's Premium Lager, which is 1.2. It's 1.2 standard drinks, which makes it a medium, mid-strength beer, but it's 4.5% alcohol, which makes it really high, medium, mid-strength beer. And it is option B. So option B actually, so I didn't mind option B. It still wasn't great, but option B wasn't unacceptable. Which leaves Peroni. Peroni, 1.2 standard drinks, 4.7%. So 1.2 standard drinks makes it a mid-strength, but 4.7% makes it a heavy. So whatever it wasn't great, which was our loser. So I didn't actually guess these two correctly. They were crisscrossed, but that definitely wasn't the best beer I've ever had. I'm pretty sure Peroni lost 2 out of 2. Smithy's was actually better than I was anticipating it was going to be. I think that makes Smithy's 3-0 possibly. Not 3-0. I think that makes Smithy's 0-3, which it's a bit misleading. 0-3 makes it sound like they are really bad, sort of like watching Carlton or Essendon play football. But they were actually really competitive in all their matches. They may have even won, I can't quite remember off the top of my head. And Crown Lager, which I think would be the biggest beer of these three in Australia. Definitely the best Victorian beer that we've got tonight. and it was the winner just. It was only just better than B, but B and C were both much better than A. A was hard to drink. It wasn't a good beer. I've just looked up a little quirk from our previous videos. I said Smithy's was 0-3 possibly, but that's actually incorrect. Smithy's mid-strength actually bet the Peroni 0 in round 6. So Smithy's has been quite competitive in these rounds, and if it had been a one-on-one battle without the crown, Smithy's would have actually gone 2 out of 3 instead of 1 and 2. So they've been a surprise contender for an upset victory most of the time. I'm surprised. Smithy's a beer you've probably never heard of. It's only available, I think, at a certain supermarket chain. It's not too bad. Peroni, an international competitor from Italy, I believe, or imported to Australia, made in Italy. The Italians must have a different taste to us. I hear they make great wine, but they don't make great beer, that's for certain. Thanks for joining me for today's beer review. It's the second three-way battle we've had, and our two losers were both mid-strength beers, Smithy's Premium Lager and Peroni. Our winner today, however, was Crown Lager, a heavy 1.4 standard drinks beer made in Victoria. Let me know if you've had any of these beers before. I suspect if any Victorians are watching, they've had a Crown. I don't think anyone outside of Australia would have had a Smithy's before. And it's possible Peroni isn't a widely drunk beer outside of Italy. It definitely didn't taste great for this Australian. The Crown Lager, it's not my favourite drink, but it was definitely, I could pick it out of the pack, and it was the best of these three. Let me know which beer you enjoy, and if you've had any of these before. I'll see you next time.